How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the New Testament Theologist YouTube channel, or welcome to the New Testament Theologist YouTube channel if this is your first time. I'm Nick, and today I was doing some research on Romans, and a friend of mine who runs the, Zach Miller, What Your Pastor Didn't Tell You YouTube channel. Him and I were going back and forth in private messenger on Facebook. Is that what it's called these days by the kiddos? I don't know. Anyway, we're going back and forth on women in ministry and early church fathers. And I confess I hadn't done a lot of work, but as I was translating stuff for my Roman series, I came across something interesting. And this is in The Fathers of the Church, Origen's Commentary on the Epistle to the Romans, translated by Thomas P. Scheck, I think that's how you say it. And this is Catholic University of America Press, copyright 2002. And it's a new translation of Origen's work. And so volume 104 for those who are interested, that in the Fathers of the Church. And I was curious, I don't agree. I think his stuff on Junia, at least how it's translated, is translated as Junius. So I don't think that's actually correct, based on Richard Servan's work and basically what seems to be unanimous consent amongst basically everyone who's complementarian or egalitarian who's written commentaries: Douglas Moo, Tom Schreider, Mike Bird, Robert Jewett, Longnecker, Witherington, Byrne, who else? Stan Porter, I know affirms. Yeah, Stan Porter, Jimmy Dunn, Joseph Fitzmar, who's also is or was a Roman Catholic scholar. You'll have to forgive me if I believe he's passed away. If he hasn't, well, that's awesome. He's still with us. His Romans commentary is really, really good. Grant Osborne, and N.T. Wright. So basically, I can't think of a single Romans commentary that affirms Junia as being a man, but that's beside the point. But I didn't want to focus on that. I wanted to give kind of a bite-sized look at what Origen, and this, of course, is, you'll have to forgive me, provide a little more context. Origen being an early church father, and so the purpose of this video, which is done a little off the cuff, is to look at what Origen said via Rufinus about Phoebe. And so Phoebe is slightly less contested than, say, Junia. But here I think we got something interesting. And so I'll just read from Scheck's translation, since I don't have the original text in front of me. But I thought this was interesting, so I'll read the whole thing. This is on page 290 in the book. Book 10, chapter, chapter 18, or chapter 17, I'm sorry. Let me double check on that. Yeah, chapter 17. So it says, quote, and this is from Romans 16, 1 through 2. Now I commend to you your sister Phoebe, who is in the ministry of the church of Cenchrea, so that you may receive her in the Lord in a manner worthy of the saints, and assist her in whatever she may require from you, for she too has assisted many, myself included. Now, I would object to assisted many. I think prostatus and other verbs and nouns and words in Romans 16 sound a lot more like leadership and patron-client relationship. So assisted seems a little imprecise, but we'll just roll with it. So that was the commentary, or that was the translation. And now this is Origen's commentary. And this passage teaches with apostolic authority that women are likewise appointed to the ministry of the church. And footnote, see, for example, book 10, chapter 20. So there's a footnote there. I'll skip over to chapter 20 real quick, or just to be fair. Oh, yeah, and so chapter 20, I'll read that. And this is about Mary. And the text is, and this is a few pages over. Greet Mary, who has labored much among you. Romans 6:16. He is teaching and Origen's commentary, he is teaching even in this that women likewise ought to labor for the churches of God, for they labor both when they teach young women to be modest, to love their husbands, to raise children, to be pure and chaste, to govern their homes well, to raise children to be kind, to be submissive to their husbands, and he takes that from Titus 2, and to receive in hospitality, to wash the feet of the saints, and all the other things written that are recorded concerning the service of women, to do all with all purity. And so Origen sees a little bit of subordination there as well. I think that's just interesting to point out. But he doesn't really expound upon that for Phoebe. So Phoebe and Mary or the implications he draws from Mary are not the same he draws from Phoebe, which I think is interesting. And that's not a footnote from Origen. It seems to be that's Origen from Scheck. But here's going back to what Origen says about Phoebe, quote, and so I'll start at the beginning again. And this passage teaches with apostolic authority that women are likewise appointed to the ministry of the church. With great praise and commendation, Paul honors Phoebe, who was placed in this service in the church in Cenchrea, as he enumerates as well her illustrious accomplishments and says she has assisted everyone to such an extent, that is, in her being at hand for necessities, that she even gave assistance to me in my necessities and apostolic labors with the complete dedication of mind. So already, unless one presumes that assist means subordination or some sort of social inferiority, that's not what seems to be at play. Assistance includes a sort of co-leadership or cooperation. Cooperative actuality or agency or participation, especially in a patron-client relationship. That's what prostatus probably just generally means. And so assistance here probably denotes something like services rendered. And so Phoebe is obviously a woman of status and those sorts of things. So going back to Origen, quote, I would call her work similar to the hospitality of Lot, who, while he received strangers at all times, one time even merited to receive angels in hospitality. Not probably the best example, Origen, but we get the point. In a similar way, Abraham, too, while he was always meeting strangers, merited even to have the Lord, together with angels, turn aside to his tent. That's, of course, from Genesis. Origen's very fond of running to the Old Testament to make application and seeing the echoes and all of that. So we continue on. So also this devout Phoebe, while she stands near everyone and accommodates everyone, merited to assist and to accommodate the apostle as well. And therefore this passage teaches two things at the same time. As we have said, women are to be considered ministers in the church, and the kind who have assisted many, and who through good services have merited attaining unto apostolic praise, ought to be received in the ministry. He, that is Paul, exhorts even this, that those who look after good works in the churches should receive, in turn, recompense and honor from the brothers, so that in whatever things there is a need, whether in spiritual or even fleshly services, they should be held in honor. End quote. And so there's a lot there to kind of chew on. I think it's fair to say that the early church fathers were probably neither complementarian nor egalitarian. I think the record is just much more mixed. It often depends on the church father you're looking at, and it also probably depends on what passage they're going through. Origen, at least as I recall, when it came to the 1 Corinthians 14 passage on the silence of women, which I take most probably to be an interpolation or what you call a gloss or an insertion into the text, saw that there was an issue there between 1 Corinthians 11 and 1 Corinthians 14, the two controversial passages. And so Origen is, while not always as egalitarian as I would like him to be honest, he is not as simple-minded a complementarian. I don't mean to say complementarians are simple-minded, but he's not so simplistic in his thinking that he fits into either category. You might say, and often early church fathers are characterized as misogynists. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's precise. Rather, I prefer to say the early church witness and interpretation of texts, depending on context, is very mixed. Chrysostom on Junia is very, very egalitarian. Chrysostom on even the pastorals is a little less complementarian or patriarchal or hierarchical as we might think. And so I wanted just to get this video out. I think it at least provides, it's not the whole story. It's not as if this exhausts Origen's thought on anything, but hopefully in keeping this video under 10 minutes, you'll find this to be something interesting. An important source and witness in the early church as it relates to the ministry of women and Phoebe in particular. And hopefully when I do my longer series on women in ministry, I can dig deeper into Origen and other church fathers. But at the end of the day, go in the peace of Christ and go and serve and lead and assist others as Phoebe would, as the minister or deacon of the church in Cenchrea. And that's our calling as all Christians after all, right? God bless.